Evening, everyone. It's 5:45, and this is your closing comment for Tuesday, the 14th of September, and it is video number 937. And I remind everyone to please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, just help to support us going forward. Okay, so we started the day with the CPI numbers, which were not as bad as they could have been, but also not great. And so I'm not going to go over those. Everybody has already seen those by now. I gave them to you this morning. Okay, so Oracle, which underwhelmed on their earnings, and this morning was trading 86.75 down 214, finished 86.39 down 250, or 2.8%. I consider that somewhat of a non-event on a day where the market was as weak as it was. What was outstanding was Microsoft up $2.80 or 1% on an upgrade over at Morgan Stanley. Apple had their event. I thought there were some interesting things in it. The stock traditionally goes down, and that's exactly what it did. It didn't finish on the low, but it did close 148.12, down $1.43, or 1%. Comcast mentioned that their new signups slowed at the end of August, and they pounded the stock. 55.59 down 438, or 7.3%. And PNC talked about their lower net interest income, and that one shed 611 to 188.15, down 3.1%. Just a couple of names that I've mentioned in the last couple of weeks. ATER. This one went from 3 to 19, and today made the round trip. $10.69, down 7.20, or 39%. No real news. Same thing with support, SPRT. The stock recently moved from a low of $1.90 to a high of 60. Closed 11.80, down 7.30, also down 39%. And Verpex, VRPX, this one actually had news. They're doing a $40 million offering. This one started a month ago at $4.20, ran to $6 the first day from $4.12, ultimately went to 36, and it completed the reverse all the way back. Closed 6.16, up 3.59 on that news. This is not a big problem since a lot of these little companies, especially biotech, tend to do offerings when they see the stock moving higher. Tomorrow we have industrial production and capacity utilization. We have import and export prices for August, and we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index, as well as the weekly mortgage apps, which I think mean absolutely nothing. So the market started up about 125, was down about 350, and finished down 292, 0.8%. Market internals were 2.2 to 1 to the downside. Same situation with the NASDAQ, was up strong early, finished down 67.82, or about 0.5%, 2.3 to 1 down on the day. Volume was higher. The S&P, which was down a little over, it was up about 20, was down about 30, finished down 25.68, or 0.6%. And the Russell was the big loser, down 30.80, 1.37, followed closely by the transports, down 163, or 1.13%. The chart on the screen is the oil, and what's impressive here is that there was definitely bad news around as far as reopening trade. A lot of people concerned about COVID, IEA lowering demand, and yet we still made a higher high and a higher low. And although we didn't close near that high, we actually closed mid-range, but up on the day. The gold hit our number exactly, 1780.60 this morning, and rallied all the way back to 1810, closed 1807, up 1270. Bitcoin up 1700. Ethereum also up. The dollar was down about 3 ticks, and bonds were up 1 1/8 on what I would only expect to see as a flight to safety, since those CPI numbers were not great. They weren't as bad as they could have been, but they weren't as good as people wanted them to be. And that, in fact, caused the sell off, in my opinion. All right, everyone. I'll be back first thing in the morning. By the way, there is a new Suki interview on YouTube. I already put it in the Discord room. I will include it in tonight's daily note. It is the CEO as well as Suki talking about nat gas. Have a good evening. I'll be back in the morning.